Anna. Okay, so let's go ahead and take up what we're taking up. Okay, so Rudy, this is your.
I gave you mine.
You want to turn yours in?
Wait. We did it together.
I'm just like, I don't know if I feel like super confident.
Because there was one part about the leaf lab that I wasn't able to add like the tree bark stuff because I hadn't realized, I guess I didn't look in enough detail when I was getting the leaves and I didn't realize I had to look at the bark. So I don't.
And you don't remember what tree?
No, so I need to like get new leaves and like add that?
I mean, that would have been ideal, especially since you only had to do 5.
Isn't it take off like a bunch of points?
No, I'm not going to take off a bunch of points. It's going to be very minimal. Probably I would say you would get points off for turning it in later. You might get a point off for that.
Okay, then I'll just.
Or a half.
I think I'll just.
Okay.
Like,
It's not going to be much, and no one's going to make 100 on the lab. I'm going to find. I mean, no one's ever made 100 on the lab.
She's trying to find something.
I'm just telling you. I'm not trying to find stuff, but there's just so much that it's not something that people are going to make 100 on.
So for the leaf
Okay.
lab,
You good, Essie? Okay. Is this your, Essie, do you have your folder
My fold.
with your tests and your stuff?
Oh, it's over there.
Okay.
In front
Okay.
of your drink.
All right. Eli, what did you turn in?
I turned in the study guide, the summary, and
You
the
sure,
test.
Eli?
Yes,
Okay.
has everything in it.
My mom forgot to sign the label. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
She was sitting in front of
Okay,
me.
so that's that.
And this one, I just didn't know the dates or anything, so, I mean, obviously you're gonna take off like that, but. for
The dates.
Yeah, cause I didn't write down the dates when I was doing it, so the dates.
Honey, just go back on the calendar and look.
Are they on the calendar?
I mean, all
For
you
the
have,
labs?
I mean, you can go back through the work list. The
Okay.
dates are always, I would get the dates on there because it does matter. I mean, to me, the amount of, yeah.
For the leaf lab, do we have to
Go
get
back
the
and
board?
look on the go to each the calendar and look for each week, kind of figure out about which week you think we did it.
Okay.
And yes, it's on there. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I hope I sneeze.
Okay. Did you not do the bark on any of them?
Oh my goodness, I can't. Hold on. Ooh, okay, we're good. Do we need to get the bark off of it?
No.
So do we just need to label the bark?
What does it say about the bark, Ruby?
I don't know.
It just has a description.
It was like, what is it, rough?
Yeah, it just says
Oh,
some
it's the
questions
description of
describing
bark?
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought like we needed
No,
a piece of it.
I
and
don't
was
need
like,
the
oh.
bark. No, it's just a description because the goal is trying to kind of identify the tree and make observations about the tree. And the only reason I care about this, I'll tell you why I care about it, is because I want you guys to learn to read the complete assignment and follow directions. That's why I care. It's because I care about y'all. And I know that in the future, when you take science classes in college, they are going to care about those kind of details, and they're not going to give you instructions on any of it. That's, truly, you might think some things I do in here are stupid, but everything I do is because it's not about me or my class. It truly is. I want to prepare you for the future and help you to be able to follow directions, catch the details, check over your work, answer discussion questions, do labs the way that teacher wants them, because everybody, in the future, they're going to be nitpicky about that stuff. So it is all my heart for you guys. So when you're irritated with me, just think, Miss Henderson must really love me.
irritated with you.
She really loves me.
me.
That's it. That's the truth. That's really is the truth, because this class is going to come and go, and y'all are all going to do big things in your life, and I'm just trying to, I don't just look at this as biology, I look at this as future training. Okay, does everybody understand that? Okay, please tell your mother, here she was out there, and I could have said something to her about her message. I just tell her that I'm so sorry that I did not check my email this morning. I didn't look at it.
She was saying that just like in case I forgot to tell you that she
Right.
would see that.
It's
later,
okay.
So.
Okay, well, please tell her you weren't the only one.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, but I do want and I think that this is kind of a little bit of a hard thing with homeschoolers is deadlines, because when you're homeschooled and everything with your mom has always been flexible.
Oh my gosh.
And it's around your schedule. And so, to me, co-op is a little bit of a transition, and so co-op teachers need to give grace and understand people are transitioning, but it is not gonna be like that at SEC, Hannah. So like, I want everyone to understand when there's a deadline, and it doesn't matter if the teacher didn't remind you or you didn't see it, it was somewhere, and it's a deadline, and it means it's a deadline.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
just, that's, again, it's all about me caring about you
Yeah.
and your future, that's it, okay. The deadline doesn't matter to me at all, okay, personally. Okay, so, how are we, let's go ahead and open up to, module 16. Are you okay?
Yeah, my allergies are high. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
sad for
Are we, so, somebody said they were liking this module, was that you, Hannah? Did you say, who said that? Who said
I
that?
liked the module, but I didn't say it.
Okay.
I said I liked it. I said I found one of the parts of the lizards fascinating.
Oh, okay.
Big words.
Good, well, I have some lizard videos, hopefully we're gonna watch them in here, if not, then I'm gonna send you all the links to them, because it is hot in here, are you not burning up in that sweatshirt?
I am.
Ah, it is
It was
hot.
Yeah, I just didn't have my sweatshirt. I thought it was gonna be like really cold.
I mean, I think it's like the humidity in here, it is really hot. Okay, so, we're in what kingdom?
Animalia?
Animalia.
I just guessed that. I didn't know.
Animalia, what phylum?
I know it's class. Oh, Animalia.
No, kingdom's Animalia. Animalia is the kingdom, so we were in Plantae, last kingdom, so we're in kingdom, Animalia, phylum,
Oh my gosh, I am so.
Vertebrata.
Yes.
Okay.
I was like,
Okay, so phylum, Vertebrata, and then we've got, this module is gonna cover 3 classes. What are the 3 classes that we're covering?
Reptilia. Reptiles.
You don't even have to say the scientific name, you can just give me the.
Class Reptilia.
Reptilia. Aves is birds, okay?
Class Aves.
So, an aviary is like a bird sanctuary. So when you see that AVE prefix in a word, it has something to do with birds, okay? And then mammalia. So today we're going to get through reptiles, and then we're going to cover most of the birds. Next week we will finish the birds and cover mammalia, and Nancy is going to give her presentation.
Next week.
Yes, yeah, that's our last week. Next week is the last week of class.
Oh, I will not be here May 8th for the drop-off date.
Okay.
So what do you want me to do with that?
You just need to, you can give it to all your stuff to someone else to drop off.
Okay.
You can bring it, you know, I don't know, there's someone that lives near you. You can, are you gonna be out of town?
Yeah, my sister's graduation is that weekend.
Okay,
So,
So you're
maybe
heading-
Thursday.
you're leaving Thursday?
Yeah.
Like in the morning?
Early in the morning, yeah. Well, I can ask again and be like,
Well, no, you don't have to be at drop off, you just have to get your stuff here.
right.
So, if Wednesday night, you could take it to, where do you live?
I live in Inman.
Inman, who lives the closest to Inman?
What, don't you live there?
No.
Right, I do,
Close
do
to
it
me.
that's right. That's right.
Are you in
You have what? What do you have?
Oh.
I live, so when I go to run for track practice, it's called McCracken Middle School. It's right near our house.
Wait,
So-
it is? I thought you lived in Bowling Springs.
No, I do, but I go to McCracken to practice for track.
thought you were staying
Yeah, well, when you go to McCracken,
McCracken is away from our house.
are you
I
gonna
thought
be
you
at
were
McCracken on Wednesday?
Tuesday and Monday.
Are you gonna be done with your stuff by then?
I can try. Yeah.
Wait, is that practice? I can get it because I pick up my brother from.
Okay. Yeah, either one. And doesn't
Okay.
matter, but-
Well, you just make sure that you make arrangements with somebody, or, I'm trying to think, I don't think any of the teachers live up in that area. I mean, it could be somebody else at co-op, but, yeah. Or, oh no, actually, because it's just the test and exam drop off, y'all can scan and email
Oh, yeah,
if you wanna do that.
And-
Yeah,
and
cause
so
you'll
what
be
is
turning your lab, the only problem is that on exam drop off day, I return people's lab notebooks.
Yeah,
Will you be seeing Nancy sometime over the summer?
probably.
Okay, I will, if you're okay with me giving that to her,
Yeah,
and you
I'm
can
totally fine.
scan everything, then you don't have to
Okay.
worry about it. Then
Perfect.
if you get it done on Wednesday night
Perfect.
late or something,
Okay.
you'll be fine. Okay,
Sounds good.
okay. So, all right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about class reptilia. So tell me give me some description, some things you learned about reptiles, class reptilia. We know they're vertebrates. Nancy?
They have dry scales.
They have dry scales, and what kind of things do those scales do?
They protect them, and they allow for because there's less water,
Uh-huh.
so they allow them to seal up all the water they have, I guess, and not have to use up a lot of water.
So it like prevents evaporation,
Right.
okay, helps that, and then it also does something else.
Oh.
That was one, prevents evaporation, and then
For some reason, I
some-
want to say like help with breathing, but I think that's another.
No.
It's because they're ectothermic,
Uh-huh, yes,
so
Nancy.
they like to lie on warm rocks.
Yes.
Allows them
So what does ectothermic mean? Is that warm-blooded or cold-blooded?
warm-blooded.
No, it's cold-blooded,
Oh,
okay?
cold.
Endothermic is warm-blooded. That means that no matter what temperature you're sitting in, your body is has different mechanisms to regulate its temperature within a very tight range, okay? Ectothermic means you don't have that ability. So we are endothermic, warm-blooded. Birds are that, but reptiles are cold-blooded. And so they have to change their environment or do certain things to warm their bodies up so that they're not gonna freeze to death, okay? So that plays into the scales because they may go warm themselves up on a rock during the day. And then maybe at night, it gets to be cooler, which is very common in the desert where there's a lot of reptiles, okay? But those scales help insulate them and help keep that heat inside, okay? So we've got the tough dry scales. They are ectothermic. Tell me about, Hannah, I'm gonna ask you this. So you said something about the respiration. Which class that we studied actually does breathe through their skin?
There's the one with the
They're similar to reptiles. People get them confused.
yeah.
I forget what the final one, but it has this with the fishes, right?
Nope.
No, it has the frogs and the toads.
Oh yeah, the
Uh-huh.
frogs and toads.
What's it?
Amphibians.
Amphibia.
Yes. Okay. Fish is gills. Their
gills,
respiration
it's
is through gills.
I get confused.
Okay. The amphibians, even though amphibians have gills in their larva stage and then in their adult stage, they have lungs. But even though they have lungs when they're adults, most of their breathing happens through their skin and then through their mouth. It is not happening through the lungs. That is not the case with the reptiles, okay? They have lungs, that's where their breathing happens. They do not have gills. So reptiles can drown, okay? Even though a lot of reptiles live in the water, they breathe with lungs. They have to come up for air, okay?
So
All right. What else?
they have 3-chambered heart.
Okay.
Okay,
Everyone
let's
except
hear
me to answer that
I'm
question.
gonna ignore the girl. I'm gonna ignore the. Okay, you go ahead.
I
Your
wasn't
turn.
gonna say about that. I was gonna say they produce eggs covered with a leathery shell, and I didn't also know, I was reading through that snakes are deaf.
Oh, that was something new that you learned? Okay. Yes, okay, so they're oviparous, okay? They're oviparous. That means that they lay the egg doesn't develop inside. It has a leathery shell, and what kind of egg is it?
Amniotic.
Amniotic. Okay.
I completely
All right,
missed
so
that.
it's basically a self-contained home for that developing reptile, okay? It's gonna provide the nourishment, that leathery shell protects it, and, what happens through that leathery shell?
I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but is it they have like the pores that like, is that it?
That's what I'm going for. So what happens through that,
I can't remember, is it oxygen that gets through?
It's-
Oxygen gets through,
Yeah.
this is the part that I was raising my hand for, I didn't even know you were gonna say that. But also pathogens and bacteria can get through, and so since they get through, they need something to stop it before it gets to like what's it called? The
Embryo.
The embryo, yeah. The embryo, so the like the egg white or whatever. is-
You're thinking about the bird eggs,
The
but
bird eggs?
that's still good. I'm glad that you're.
Okay,
And
so
there
I remember-
probably is some kind of thing in the reptile eggs that also protects them from pathogens, but that's where you are, is you're thinking of the bird eggs, because that is in the bird eggs that protects. So that was good detail. But yes, gas exchange can happen through the outside of that cell. So the oxygen that developing reptile needs, and then CO2 can go out of that shell. Okay, so Hannah, you said something then about the heart. Tell me about the reptile heart.
Is this something with the heart?
I thought this
Oh,
table was,
yeah.
yeah.
About the heart. Oh, it's a three-chambered heart. I know that.
Okay, and so
Like,
what else
like this.
had a three-chambered heart that we studied?
The amphibians.
The amphibians had a three-chambered heart. How is the reptile three-chambered heart different from the amphibian heart?
The ventricle is partially.
Okay,
Partially.
I'm on Hannah, okay, I guess, okay, so go ahead.
It has a ventricle that is partially divided.
Yes, the ventricle is.
Sorry, I didn't know if you meant like describing them or like that, so I got confused. I'm sorry.
Yep, no, that's good, okay. So basically, because that ventricle is partly divided, so we've kind of seen like a progression of hearts. And so the reptile now has the heart that's the most similar to our heart. It was the frog, but now the reptile has a partially divided ventricle. We have 4 chambers, so mammals are gonna have 2 atria and 2 ventricles. And so, but the reptile is the first class that we've studied where the oxygenated and the deoxygenated blood are kept separately, okay? Back on the egg, sorry about that. Well, actually, let me make sure everybody understands this. With that 3-chambered heart, the right side receives the deoxygenated blood, okay, goes into the right atria, then it goes down to the right ventricle. The ventricle always pushes it back out. The ventricle pushes it back out to the lungs, okay, that is the right side because it's a partially divided ventricle. Then the blood comes back to the left atria, which receives the oxygenated blood, and then the left side of that partially divided ventricle pumps the blood back out to the body. Okay, back on, and Ruby, I'm so sorry, I was wrong here. It does talk about the albumin in the reptile egg, you were right. So back on the egg, looking at my notes, back on the egg, Ruby was right, it's the albumin, that's the white, and it has pathogens in it, chemicals, it helps absorb shock to protect the developing embryo, but it also has some chemicals that could kill dangerous pathogens, okay, that could make the developing embryo sick. Okay, what about the yolk? What does it do? And then this is the same in the bird as it is in the reptile.
Does it provide nutrients?
Yes, so it's the nourishment, and I will tell you this, eggs are very good for you, okay? And basically, of all the foods we eat, eggs they're the most nutritionally complete of anything we eat. The only thing that an egg doesn't have, nutrient-wise, vitamin and mineral and nutrient-wise, is calcium. And if we ate the shell, we would be getting calcium. I'm not recommending that, but I'm just telling you. And so that is because those eggs, that yolk, and that's where most of the nutrients are. So these people that just eat the egg whites, they're just kind of getting protein. Most of the nutrients are in the yolk. It's important to eat the yolk too. But that yolk in the developing reptile, in some developing mammals that are hatched by eggs, and then in birds, that's providing the nutrients, the nutrition. And then what is the amnion? And we can look on, everybody look on page 496, okay? And so we see that figure 16.1, and we've got the shell. The albumin is the lavender color, okay? So that's the shock absorber and fighting pathogens. The yolk, the big neon yellow, that's providing the nutrition. The allantois, that is filled with a bunch of blood vessels for nutrient and gas exchange, okay? And then we've got the embryo in the green, and then the amnion is the membrane around it. Okay, and this is almost identical in all eggs. This is not just a reptile egg. This is an example of an amniotic egg. But that amniotic fluid that's around there, in the amnion, that is just extra protection around the developing embryo. Everybody see that? Okay, all right.
It's like a broccoli.
It does look like broccoli.
And that in the allantois, those vessels, that's where you're gonna get gas exchange and excretion, like the things that the developing embryos needing to get rid of are gonna go out there and go into.
I did want to say we have chickens and we just hatched 2 eggs.
Oh, wow.
Chickens will eat their own shells.
Yeah, they
will
do.
when they're little, so
I wouldn't know.
that's
I have chickens.
Yeah, adult chickens will eat the eggshells.
Okay, so now we're gonna go on to orders in class Reptilia, which there's a lot of diversity, okay, in this class. And so you can look on page 498, figure 16.2. And so the first order is Rhynchocephala.
What?
Let me make sure. Okay. Rhynchocephala.
Rhynchocephalia.
Okay.
Rhynchocephalia? Yes.
I think that's right. Okay.
I don't see that as being confusing.
So what is that? What is in that group? What is in that order? A tuatara, and what is it like?
I don't know. This thing looks terrible.
Where does it live? What does it do?
It is insects. It's largely nocturnal at night. They spend a good part of the day basking in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
It grows to a length of 30 inches. And its spine, they call it the spine bearer,
Mm-hmm.
which points out its disgusting characteristics. I meant distinguishing.
Okay, this is the big thing about this. When the tuatara lays its eggs, how long is it before they hatch?
20 years? Wait, no.
A year.
1 year, but they don't lay eggs until
They're 20.
They're-
20.
I think it's after until they've lived for 20 years, okay, and they typically live for 40 years.
What do they look
And
like?
so what's the let's look it up and get a picture. What is the big problem with in New Zealand is where they're mostly living, but what has been the big problem that's causing their population to dwindle? Hannah?
So rats are eating all their eggs because they got on a ship because, was it the British that attacked or something? And they had rats on their ship and their rats took over and started eating their eggs.
Okay.
And so now they're trying to get all the tuataras onto a different island that is rat free.
Alright, and I might need your,
Hotspot.
yeah, can you turn it on for
Yes,
me?
ma'am.
Thank you.
And it should be just called, you might need the password.
I will.
Okay.
Okay, well, it looks like I'm getting, okay, here we go. Here's the Tuatara pictures. Okay. All right, and then what else does the Tuatara have that makes it a little bit different?
It has
Third
3
eye.
eyes.
3 eyes, okay.
Or they keep
Then
it.
before you lie, tell me about it.
It's that it can't receive images, but it's light sensitive.
Right, it kind of tells the Tuatara when to get out of the sun. It actually doesn't, send signals, to the brain, but it kind of tells it how long it should be staying out before it goes back to burrow. Because they don't want to stay out too long.
Or else they'll overheat and die.
That's right. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna go on to order Squamata, which includes what?
Snakes and lizards.
Snakes and lizards. Okay. And who wants to tell me, some differences between snakes and lizards?
Lizards.
Ruby?
Lizards have eyelids and snakes don't, and also lizards have 2 sets of legs and snakes have none.
Okay. All right, that's good. So we've got 2 limbs on the lizards, none on the snakes, eyelids on the lizards, none on the snakes. Hannah, you got something?
Lizards have the same type of scales of their bodies, but snakes have specialized scales in their bodies for locomotion.
Good. Okay. One more.
Did I say that right?
Lizards have ears and can eat while snakes are deaf.
Yes. Snakes are deaf. Okay.
And they also have terrible eyesight. Right? No.
Snakes?
I thought it said they did.
I don't think that they
Or they just don't have like.
great eyesight. I don't know
Yes,
that
they're not
it's terrible, but they're not like known for their eyesight. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, so now going into lizards, what is the largest lizard?
Komodo dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But in the US it's the Gila monster. Sorry.
Yes, so we don't have Komodo dragons. Okay, we are going to watch a video about Komodo dragons.
Ma'am, after you finish the video, can I run and try to look for my phone? Because it's not, I think I left it in a separate room. And my mom's coming early,
Oh.
so I need to be able
I saw it. It's on the floor outside the room.
The
It's
floor?
The library.
Okay, thanks.
The floor Nancy.
I'll run it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
It's on the floor outside the library.
It's a guy phone.
Who would?
As opportunities, these lizards will try and eat anything they think they can get
Can
away
y'all
with.
see?
Yes.
It seems the pickings around the guide's house must be pretty good, because there are loads of dragons here, and they're big.
Dragons. The largest lizards on Earth,
Oh, he's British.
and just extraordinarily broad, powerful. Okay, big fella, it's alright. It's okay. Don't want to move quickly, because that could trigger a predatory response. Much safer just staying calm and still. It looks like it's kind of regurgitating.
Oh, what? That's how I yawn.
Seeing the dragons on the islands of Komodo might not be
It's not.
hard, but they're so efficient that they can go a very long time without hunting. So it could be tricky to see them at their deadly best. I do have a few ideas though.
There's one bit of science I'd really like to try with the Komodo dragons here. This is a bite test gauge. It measures the force of the bite of an animal.
Why would you
So
do
if
that?
I bite this here, should register about 120 pounds per square inch.
To get the dragons to bite, we're going to need a little bit of encouragement in the form of some honking meat.
We have a bite test gauge with stinking rotten meat on it.
And they went
Let's
better
see
for
what damage
us.
our
This
bear
is,
dragons
this,
can do.
I'll send you this, this is a good time, I'd rather have you.
Lizards aren't generally known for the force of their bite, so I'd like to find out what this super-sized specimen can do. Is it going to actually bite down though? Yeah, that felt like more of a bite. With the smell of blood in the air, I'm suddenly surrounded by ravenous, drooling jaws. Okay, guys. It's alright, we'll let it take it. Back off. That's fine. So they're just chomping away at it now. Hopefully, wow! They'll get the meat off there, and I'll be able to recover the bite test gauge and see what we've registered.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you can really see how that tail can be used as a defensive weapon.